Dobra Pajalevat and welcome to the first game of SOMA versus 6. Now with Nurse on Cold Tower, and everybody in chat, you might say Mathis out of the frying pan into the fire. Yes, I'm now back on the casting booth, joined by none other than hello, good day, Alex.
Hello, and welcome to our first match of SOMA. I forgot the other team, but that's fine because we'll have 6 on killer. Just a second there, sorry guys. But we'll see him trying to blink into this intervention, trying to see where the survivors could be, but isn't going to be able to find anyone almost immediately. All of the survivors are working their way towards the uncorrupted generators, while we see Volga, however, potentially being chased around by 6's killer.
Yeah, L6's killer here, Never Had, trying to represent on the Nurse, coming right into the first game, finding that first hit relatively early on here on Volga in the corner, so this might be a very quick end to our chase as L6 has nothing to play around, tries to use the flashlight here, but slightly out of range and will not be able to burn our Nurse out of the blink, and Never Had will successfully blink on our survivor in the corner. Meanwhile, we have 2 survivors doubling a generator in, I believe, on the exact opposite side of the map. We already see our Adam setting up for the save, leaving that generator now, of course, allowing it to ruin regress. We see a very typical Nurse build, I'd say, that is usually utilized. That's usually utilized mostly in the Russian community as well, with this Pop Goes the Weasel, Ruin, and Thanatophobia. But we, of course, also seen our American killer Never Had. Yeah, I do have to also comment on, of course, our ping difference here. It can get a bit wonky, especially with Nurse. This is a fully Russian team against a mostly fully American team. But we are going to see that Unlock coming through, and already the broken status effect here. Is that... what person could that be? Swatter going down. I have no idea what that broken status effect that can either only usually come from either renewal or deliverance. Or for the people. Completely forgot about that. Yeah, the for the people comes through on Volga, but Volga instantly goes down, unfortunately, right next to Luke here once again. But one generator does pop in the meantime.
That was a very risky play from the survivors. It doesn't seem to have paid out, as Swatter is now going to be injured through the broken status effect because of it, and Volga still being able to get tunneled out there because we're on Nurse. You know, you do want to do that, but not when the Nurse is that close, you know, because you can get that pressure back immediately if you are Never Had, and that's exactly what happened there. We saw that in that last chase. But it seems now Never Had is just going to try and keep the survivors from getting towards this unhook and make sure that they're not able to work on any generators nearby as well. Probably returning now to the main building, or faking going towards the main building while trying to stay near this unhook, making sure that no one can get as close as possible. Still has access to that Ruin and Pop, so Ruin will be regressing all these generators that Never Had is pressuring survivors off of. Now returns to the hook. It seems like we'll see finally Swatter getting healed after that For the People play earlier. The survivors should be coming in for a double save right now if they don't want the death already on their teammate. Volga, a death at 4 gens would be insane for the Nurse right now, especially since this is SOMA's pick on killer.
Yeah, with Never Had already claiming that death so early on, usually with that Thanatophobia and Ruin or Pop Goes the Weasel combination, you usually want to get that hook, then try to pressure a different survivor, get value out of Thanatophobia with a quick hit, but Never Had here feeling completely free to camp Volga from the second stage straight to death here, as no survivor posed any difficulty here, with no one going for the save. Never Had gonna vault here, unfortunately not gonna be able to make it through with that second blink here. No bamboozle, extremely disappointing, I gotta say. Would have seen so much value coming from that. Never Had now trying to localize any of the survivors in the middle here, but unfortunately not going to be able to find anyone. Tries to blink behind the tile here, might have gotten body blocked by a survivor, and the survivor is what they find. The Fang is going to take the hit Terrifier on a run now, trying to avoid this down. Never Had going for full prediction and gets Terrifier right with that second blink after that first hit has come through. That is going to be the second individual survivor finally going down after Volga has taken all the aggression at the very early start. You're gonna see Milston already setting up for a save. Swatter trying to hide away. Still has that deliverance available as well. A very nice pick here with that deliverance and For the People, making absolutely sure you 100% get it, because on this level, no survivor should be able to go down in under from healthy to down in under that 10-second duration, I believe, 10 or 15 second duration, I believe it is. Yeah, but Neverhad now just going to keep the hook in the middle. Still has a lot of gens up at the top of the map, or right around main building. Does have that 4 gen, or maybe even a 5. I see 1 gen at the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is looking very, very grim for SOMA. This is going to be hardly resurrectable. Yeah, we do see, I think, two generators on the... No, there's only 1. There's going to be a 5 gen on the top side, with Ruin still active, and on the exact opposite side. So, considering that the Ruin has not been taken out of the game yet, most of these survivors are most likely expecting the Ruin is still remaining on the main building side here. But we're going to see our first survivor going for the main building generator. Extremely risky considering the hook is right outside.
Yeah, especially since now Terrifier is about to hit second stage. Going for that main building generator means that Neverhad can pressure both the main building and that unhook, especially since it will get closer and closer to death. We saw the other survivor working away Swatter on another generator in the distance, but it seems Neverhad is immediately going to blink underneath the main building, not actually going up and being able to find the main building generator, but does find Swatter working on the generator over on the left side of the map. Now going to do an insanely good pallet play there from Neverhad, able to go back and forth and get that down in. But in the meantime, the save will come through. We'll see the Fang and the Ace both running away, trying to go towards the Shack side of the map and maybe reset, but now they've separated. Maybe Ace is trying to hide in for the save right now, and that would be an insanely good play, as, you know, you don't have much gen pressure, especially with this Ruin up. Your gens are going to be regressing, so you need to be as aggressive as possible, getting all your teammates back into working order as fast as possible so they don't regress that much. But it seems Neverhad isn't going to give them that opportunity, blinking very, very close to the hook, never giving them any space to get a free unhook. In the meantime, I believe it was a missed skill check over in the distance that gives Neverhad some information. Swatter will get the deliverance off the hook, and Neverhad might be able to connect down onto them if they're able to find the scratch marks right now.
This is going to be realistically impossible to turn around here, with Neverhad still having a 5 gen and already sitting at 6 stages, with, I believe, Terrifier already being on death hook as well. So it has that decisive strike available, but will unfortunately not be able to get any value out of it, as Swatter has already gone down in the meantime. Now this is going to be such a pain to even get 2 more gens out of the game. Insane rhyme, that means it's true. But we're gonna see Terrifier going down on the hill here. Beautiful prediction by Neverhad, blinks straight down as Terrifier tries to drop as well. The decisive strike has run out, so I'm fairly certain this is going to be the second death here already out of the game. Yeah, Swatter gets hooked. That is already going to be the death. We see one survivor, however, pushing out the generator next to main building. He tries to get some last-ditch effort on this generator. Not a single survivor has gone for this, for the Shack generator, which could have granted our survivors an extra 2 points. But we might see a very close result to exactly what happened last week for SOMA against Oboy when they took the 4K, 3 generators remaining. But I do think our survivor will be able to pop that last, and a beautiful dead hard comes through. Is going to extend this chase by so much here. Milston, our only survivor who's not been chased yet, is of course the one bearing that dead hard as well. So extremely lucky for Neverhad. The slug comes through, but I'm fairly certain Swatter will be able to pop that generator despite that Thanatophobia. If our survivors even going for it, yeah, and they do. They get the last generator, the third generator popped finally, and that is going to grant our survivors a score of 6 points so far.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get any more, as Neverhad is being on the hunt right now, searching for his prey, trying to find wherever Swatter could be, and finds him in the corner next to it. A sprint burst will allow the chase to go on a little bit longer, but the down will come in through another beautiful prediction blink from Neverhad. Neverhad having very good prediction blinks throughout this entire match. And just some solid play, able to get a 4K at 2 generators remaining. You know, the map did play into his favor. However, the survivors tried to break that giant 5 gen at the top side of the map, but they were not able to in the in-game. Didn't have enough players. You know, when you have that death at 4 gens, you need to you just play insanely out of your mind if you want to break that 5 gen at the top. It's almost impossible, and Neverhad didn't let up any of that pressure, so it definitely was impossible for this team to break through, especially, you know, like I said, after that death at 4 gens.
Now our Milston here has been down right behind the Shack, where also a hatch is most likely going to spawn here. Neverhad still trying to get a good look around our building, but that hatch is going to get kicked instantly. So Milston might be bearing an adrenaline, does not have access to it. So Neverhad's only objective now is to find our hiding Ace, I think it is, in the corner of the map here. That's Never had probably thinking that is exactly what a dead hard user deserves to get being slugged in the corner. But also, we do see our ace is right beside an exit gate here. So this is going to be very close. We did see Neverhad, I believe. Oh no, it's behind Shaq. We did already see Neverhad walk past this area, but not checking it thoroughly in the corner. So I doubt Neverhad is going to go back to it anytime soon, but is maybe trying to predict where our ace might have crawled in time. So might not check main building here thoroughly. Still trying to find our ace on the outskirts. It's going to be so difficult here, considering Neverhad has already walked past ace right at the beginning of their surge. So this would be the last spot to check once again. Gonna see Neverhad blinking into the middle, trying to get some line of sight onto our ace here, who however is taking rest in the corner of the map.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you walked past him earlier, and you're checking all the corners of the map, but the one corner you haven't checked is where he is at. And if you don't return there, this definitely could possibly be a bleed out, especially because there's still another whole half of the map that Neverhad has to check if he wants to be thorough, checking all of these corners. And that seems exactly like what he's doing. He's blinking around now to try and save some time because he knows it's getting close. You have around 30 seconds before you bleed out on Milston. You need to make sure that you return back to where you started if you haven't found somebody already. He's checking these jungle gyms now because he's like, well, he can't be on the edge of the map. I've already checked half of it. There's no way he's on the edge of the map. But you missed him right at the start. Maybe that grass hiding him just a little bit. This seems like it will be a bleed out. 15 seconds remaining on that bleed out. This is going to be an insane swing of points, especially because I believe Milston wasn't hooked at all during the match.
Yeah, we do still see these 9 stages here. Milston, the only one, as I said previously, the last survivor that is chased is also the Dead Hard Baron. But now Neverhad blinking in the corner might be finding him. We did have Milston right here, and the survivor is going to get found. Milston will be picked up, and it's gonna be difficult to find a hook here. Maybe we do have a hook right here. Yeah, it does seem like it. So Neverhad is going to be successful in securing the 4K at 2 generators remaining. This is going to be very difficult for SOMA to come back to, especially since we already did see a relatively similar scenario last week, but against when SOMA played against Oboy. But of course, last week we had, I believe, Volga play on the Nurse first, and this time it's Volga taking second. So Volga does have the win condition now set and knows what perks to bring, knows how to adapt the perk build here, does not have to bring a no-aid or any type of late game perk, because this 4K has to be secured at either 2 gens for the tie or 3 gens for the win.
Yeah, I think that was the closest, Mathis, that we've ever gotten to a bleed out without it actually being a bleed out. That must be heartbreaking for SOMA there, not being able to get that point swing. That would have been so huge for them. And after playing such an incredible game, I think both teams are going to need to, pat themselves on the back after this one, especially since you already had a death at 4 gens. You did incredibly well breaking at least one of those generators in the 5 gen. And getting out with as many points as you did get out there. And hopefully you're able to, as the killer, get a similar performance and come back. And we'll see if they're able to do that after a short break. Hello, everybody, and we are back now with SOMA on Killer and 6 on Survivors. We see Volga immediately rushing over straight to the main building where we just saw Oyer hanging out. Neverhad in the corner, also with Oyer and Joy King right there. But Shabani will be the first found and starting the first chase over near the middle of the map. Now heading over towards the Shack side, we see the firecracker go down, but it's not going to get the burn. Shabani will get hit. A wonderful blink coming out from Volga, and probably a prediction now, but it's not going to be a good one. Has to go all the way back from that corner and straight back down towards the Shack, but he's able to connect a huge swing onto Shabani. And wonderfully played there, able to get the second prediction blink now and get that down immediately. The survivors aren't going to have much time to work on these generators, and if there is any ruin or pop goes the Weasel, Oyer and the Joy King, I believe, Jin is going to get interrupted as fast as possible.
I also really love Volga's build that he's coming out with here. We're seeing something completely unconventional, but also given the circumstances that Volga has to either 4K and 2 or 3 gens, either for the tie or the win. we're going to see Pentimento throw off the hunt and Ruin. So 2 Hex Totems up. Also beautiful reaction time here by Joyking. Does not go for the Anarchy because they for sure know that Volga has to fatigue first, but gets the body block successfully. Gonna go for Blink again here for the fast recovery instead of just the swing. Gets the first hit on the Joyking. Joyking tries to avoid the hit, but gets it straight through Shibani, who was most likely trying to take the body block for with the borrowed time here, but is now instead going to get walked down. It's gonna be so tight here. Beautiful body block on the window, and the perfectly timed swing is going to grant Volga the second slug at 4 generators remaining. We see our survivor, we see Neverhad on the direwolf skin trying to go for the pickup onto Joyking, but Volga instead blinks straight back as that corrupt intervention runs out and the second hook is claimed.
Yeah, Chobani might have access to that decisive strike, so Volga is now going to head over where they last saw Neverhad and the other survivors, trying to find anyone out. Maybe get a third slug at the moment in this game would be huge. We see in the distance, Chobani's picked up Neverhad, also probably over there, or maybe an Unbreakable. We see the save also come through. 3 survivors injured, however. This is a great spot for Volga to be in. And now Neverhad to switch the pressure onto themselves, using that for the people. They're going to be broken for about 60 seconds after, or I believe maybe it's 90. And now the chase will start over at Shack onto one of these survivors. The down should come through fast, however, since Neverhad is in the corner, and this should be a quick death for them as well.
I also really would like to point out how well our survivors are adapting to the anticipated build that Volga is going with, because we do not see that Ruin being cleansed. So our survivors might be expecting some sort of Thrill of the Hunt Pentimento. Of course, you get that Thrill of the Hunt feedback right as soon as you tap a totem. You of course get the red bar and also the indicator on the right hand side. So it's really nice that our survivors are trying to avoid the Pentimento for as long as possible, but we do see that first cleanse of the Thrill coming through, so that one Pentimento is going to come out sooner or later if Volga decides to go backward, but for now is going to be stuck in action, needs to commit a hit, needs to commit the down, and gets another hit here. Lovely how our Russians always complain about the ping, but now dishing it out themselves so beautifully. But we get the stun coming through here by Joyking, but of course stuns don't do much against Nurse anymore, and it's rather just a nice play, an advantage for the Nurse. Sorry. Revout. A good advantage for Nurse, as we do have that near instant recovery. You're gonna see Neverhad still being broken for a bit now, but we're gonna see the reset coming in on Shack. Our survivors, however, do pop that second gen. So this is already going to be, this is the last generator that Volga can still win on. We're going to see the Pentimento #1 coming through. The other totem has already been cleansed as well, so there's no rune in play. Volga is most likely not going to go for the Pentimento just yet, as the second or any of the other stacks usually don't really matter, as that first one already grants you the 30% speed down on the generators for our survivors. Volga now struggling to find a survivor. Meanwhile, they all successfully reset as well. So this is going to be very tough on Volga, because we still have such a nice gen split, and that Pentimento gets cleansed before Volga even finds a survivor as well. Team 6 doing a wonderful job on the survivor side.
Yeah, definitely. They're just hiding everywhere, and Volga is not able to find them. They reset as well, so the double save could come through. However, it's going to be very risky, especially against Nurse, so they might not go for it. They might let this death come out at 3 generators, which is looking very similar to the last match, where we saw that SOMA survivors let one of their survivors die at 4 generators. However, because they've been focusing on the Pentimento, because they've been focusing on the resets, and because they've been focused on hiding, it doesn't seem like 6 has that much gen pressure, and it seems like all the survivors are now returning to the generators and just starting them. However, I was wrong. Oyer is already 70% done on one of these generators. That is so huge. However, Volga is going to try and slow that down with now the second stack, or the first stack of Pentimento showing up right now on the map. Now returning back to where they last saw a survivor. Oyer is going to use that balance landing to get as much distance as possible, running towards the bottom of the map. Volga is trying to and cut them off at the edge map, and it seems like that is going to work, but the first blink comes through and the second blink should connect. There we go, on to Chobani. Chobani is now going to take that first hit.
This is just so close. Volga already has so many split gens here. And beautiful predictions through this edge map tile, or the edge tile of the jungle gym, respectively. Don't really know what to call it. I know some people call it the firewall, but that's very unofficial. Regardless, Volga is going to get the second stage onto Chibani, who is now death on hook next time, but the third generator pops, so this is already going to be the tie condition. If one more generator flies, Team 6 is going to take this first set, so this could not be any closer. Beautiful movement by Neverhad will deny this hit coming through, so our survivor could potentially go for the one for one, but instead just runs up. Beautiful battle back. Volga tries to land the one blink on our survivor, but the ping was not great enough, so Volga unfortunately is not going to be able to connect that extremely ambitious swing, and that Pentimento gets cleansed once again. Volga has no perks remaining and needs to get all of these survivors down. Now we're gonna see, of course, with that Pentimento being cleansed, no survivor can possibly be on a generator. They were busy cleansing, so Volga is actually in a mathematically speaking nice position, because Neverhad is of course stuck in this corner, is not able to leave it, tries to go for the unhook. This unhook would be detrimental for Volga, and it comes through as well. Chibani does not die on hook. This is gonna grant Oya enough time to pop that last generator very, very soon. Of course, we might get the two-man slug here, but the balanced landing is going to come through. Volga has to land a prediction through the exhaustion perk if he wants to get any sort of pressure, but Osvaldo just holds W, jumps into the locker, and has the decisive strike available. Oh, this is going to be the grab comes through, yeah, but there's going to be the DS and the generator, as I said. Too much time wasted here. Beautifully played by Neverhad with the last second save, and that is the GG. And Volga is unfortunately not going to take the first set for Soma, and 6 gets the 1-0.
That is insane. 6 played out of their minds to buy enough time for that last generator, especially since Volga was just in such a good spot, keeping Neverhad in that corner of the map. But that 1-for-1 was so well played by Wispy, by Neverhad, and then jumping into the locker by Chibani. It's just so well played by both teams, but especially by 6, being able to just waste as much time as possible.
Yeah, the win is definitely decided for Team 6 here, but it seems like it's not enough for them. They still might try to get an escape here, as we see Oya positioning on a generator. Neverhad waiting in a corner. Might have also tried to position on a generator, but the chase on Oya is going to take place inevitably. Our survivor, who did phenomenally against Fallen Art in one of the previous weeks as well, did a fantastic job, and I'm pretty sure ran for the last 3 generators remaining, but is unfortunately going to take that first hit relatively early. I don't recall if we had a dead hard, so that might still be available on Oya. So yeah, I don't think we've seen it yet. A beautiful prediction by Volga is unfortunately not going to connect just yet. Oya still on a run here, trying to utilize the trees in the corner as well as possible, and we are going to see that dead hard, as anticipated, is going to extend the chase much longer. Also a beautiful use by the dead hard here, because it of course puts our nurse in the corner of the map. Oya finally goes down inside a shack, is picked up, and Neverhad pops the last generator as well. Wants to send a message to Soma that they are absolutely not afraid of being able to get almost twice as many points here on the survivor side as Soma. Just extremely well done, and Oya still has not even been hooked yet. Is only now hooked, so Neverhad still has enough time here to either open a gate or maybe even rush for the save here, and then they coordinate in such a way that one survivor is on each respective gate. That would secure an escape. It's Link as well, that was so crucial. So Neverhad is going to be able to waste this remaining time, and Oya is most likely going to head straight for that gate, and this is going to be the one-man escape here. Even if Neverhad is able to utilize the flashlight correctly, this might even be the 2-out.
Yeah, it's insane. And the pallet stun. Oh, I thought it was a stun for a second, but they were able to M1 first before the stun came through. The gate is almost open. We saw Oyer on it previously, but it seems like Oyer is now going to get chased off. Volga is going to be able to get it down. No! The dodge comes through. The avoid on that M1 was so good from Oyer as well. We saw Neverhad returning to the gate, trying to get it open, but Volga is doing a good job of keeping survivors off of it, but they can't keep it up forever. With this M1 coming through, we should have time to see Oyer opening up that gate, and Volga is immediately going to return, and it seems like Oyer is going to give up on this gate maybe and return away, trying to maybe go for the other gate or just try to buy time for Neverhad to get out as well. We'll see, yeah, all the way down towards this right side of the map, and the down will come through, and now the pickup probably as well, as this gate should be open. But no, Neverhad's not on it. This could be a 4K, but the survivors have already won. 6 playing out of their mind to even get into this position. Volga has done a good job as well, however, keeping the pressure up on the survivors. And there we go, the down onto Neverhad. This will be the 4K at no generators remaining, and the win for 6 over Soma in this first nurse set. We will be going to Executioner after this.
Yeah, and the plan unfortunately does not succeed here with both survivors trying to get on each of the respective gates, but of course, in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter, as 6 is definitely going to take this first set here with 2 generators more having been completed. So beautifully played by our survivors from Team 6. They came in with the plan and they pulled off, and they will be able to win this first set. And as you already said, we are going to move on with Executioner, which was, as a matter of fact, 6's pick. So they might have something up their sleeves here that is to be hidden from Team SOMA. So considering how the SOMA set was lost by SOMA, this is going to be very, very difficult now going into 6's pick, as they are most likely going to be more confident on the Pyramid Head. Regardless, after a short break, we will be right back with our set number 2. Hello everybody and welcome back to a very early first chase, but of course, on a side note, we are going to see Volga on the Pyramid Head on Groening Storehouse after our first nurse set has been played out with 6 taking the first set point. Now we're going to see our killer from Team SOMA on the Pyramid Head trying to get a good result to potentially decide this first set. We're going to see a very empty map here right from the get-go. The first hit is going to come through onto Huron, is now going to take the chase to main building, and Volga is going to ready that ability super early as the double range and the down comes through at 5 generators. The double range add-ons that we see at the bottom left coming instantly through with so much value. So, and Volga is probably very happy right now that he didn't bring the I think duration add-on, but I don't even know if Volga plays that often. But of course, basement, main, Groening Storehouse, Pyramid Head at 5 generators. This is looking extremely grim for our survivors unless we get a rescue extremely early on, and then the most insane chase we've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. We now see, however, that Volga is immediately going to pressure the survivors off the generators near this main building. You know, a lot of them are corrupted as well, so putting them in a great position to save on the basement will come through. However, Volga is going to be sitting at the top of the stairs. They can shoot their power down the stairs. I don't know if they know that. They can't shoot it up, but you can shoot your power downstairs, so maybe they're just waiting, however, for the down through the BT and body blocking to guarantee the cage, and that seems exactly what's going to happen now. The cage all the way across the match, no time for DS, as the cage will come through that BT, and now Volga has whatever they has as much pressure as they want and as much time to do whatever they want to do. Sees people on Rancor as well. Ooh, tries to prediction hit one of the survivors here. Shabani now going to oh my god, out in the open. Shabani will get that hit, tries to juke away, but Volga knows exactly what to do and is able to connect that last shot. We see a survivor now running for the save on the cage. However, if the cage save does go through, this is going to be a death. Immediately into the match. This is so huge for Volga. A death at 4 generators remaining and 2 other survivors injured. This is a great position for them to be in. Even at 3 generators, this is still a great position for them to be in.
This is so difficult. Having a survivor sacrificed at 3 generators remaining against the Pyramid Head. Volga, of course, has that no way out available. So the real play should just be now to spread the stages as much as possible, to then get more no way out value, to then stack more stages in the late game. But of course, any kind of playstyle is viable, especially with, I believe, Volga has sort of a 3-gen here in the corner. I didn't see if the main building generator is yet to be popped or not, but this is looking extremely good for Volga. Might even try to commit for a second tunnel out, and knowing Volga, I believe that is exactly what we're going to get. And the survivor is going to run straight into Volga, is going to get the hit for free, and yeah, the generator in main building has been popped. So, rinse and repeat! Oh my god, a rinse and repeat of what happened at the start. It is unbelievable. The basement comes through again, so Volga can just place more his trial back down on the stairs, and will be able to get the survivor caged as well. It's just gonna be the exact rinse and repeat with what we saw on Huron. This is so unfortunate. Volga getting maximum value out of the double range here, and of course we do have to take into consideration the slight ping difference that we have with our Russian to American players. But small piece of advice if you play against Pyramid Head, try to juke into the ability, because that usually does work out, because everything else everything else just ends up hitting you. We're gonna see the rescue coming through now, but Volga of course has the trial down, so if our survivors stop crouching, that is going to be the immediate infection here. But our survivors trying to get out of this is of course also the obsession, so might be the decisive strike barrier, but the down does come through onto Chibani, and Neverhard still locked in the basement, has to try their best to get out, and the hit is gonna come through, runs back up, is probably gonna try to avoid the trial, but does not make it. The trial comes through, and Neverhard will be put into the tormented state as well, and runs straight into Volga. The ability is not gonna come through. Neverhard is not going to hesitate on the vault and go straight for it.
This is insane. Volga has so much pressure here. If he's able to get the down, it's going to be very, very good. Oh, but it seems Neverhead is able to get away just barely. The down onto Chibani, or the pickup onto Chibani will come through, and the DS is true. Chibani, however, will now get infected using that Trail of Torment, and will need to run away as fast as Volga is going to be able to hit some insane in the open shots as we saw before. However, bounce landing is going to buy Chibani some time to get away. If Volga is able to get a hit right here on Shaq, I'm going to go insane. But no, the hit will not come through. Volga has to break the pallet, and now is going to run further down into the map, heading over to where we saw Ultra working on one of these generators, however. So this could be a little bit of a misplay if they are interrupting some of these generators working. Oh, but it seems I was actually mistaken. It was on the opposite side of the map. Yeah, but a beautiful body block on that pallet will come through, and now the pickup, not even the hook, because you want to save that cage for later in the match. And now Ultra is going to be able to heal, however, Neverhead, and pop probably the second to last generator. Yeah, immediately as we see the hook on. Oh no, the cage. It seems like he wasn't able to make it to a hook, however. So the cage does come through.
I'm also fairly certain I'll survive a 90. Oh yeah, a nice 99 off that generator, playing around the Rancor reveal that this perk does reveal you. As this perk reveals you any location of all remaining survivors for every generator popped, or it gives you the killer instinct thingy, or basically as if a survivor screamed cross map, but of course without the sound. But Volga now trying to find Neverhard here, going around the main building, but so far being unsuccessful. Volga is in such a beautiful position, such a big map for a killer that has 0 to no mobility, with the ability of course only has the cages, but of course a very powerful ability that can down you extremely quickly if you're not careful or knowledgeable with this ability or how to counter it. But Volga is in such a good position, has so many stages secure, and still has the no way out for the late game. We see the last generator is already at 50%, but Chibani is now going to die in the cage. That is going to be the 6th stage for Volga, and the second survivor out of the game. Now it is all up to Ultra and Neverhead to bring it home and potentially get us an escape or two, because we still have to take into consideration Pyramid Head is a basic M1 killer, so a 2v1 is possible if executed perfectly.
Yeah, and it seems like Neverhead is going to try and show if they're able to do that. This chase starts over next to a TL wall, and now into the pallet gym. The hit will come through. It is true. Neverhead will now have to run away inside of a mini dead zone and try to make it to anything else. It seems like all they have, though, to work with is a TNL wall, which isn't the strongest in Pyramid Head power. However, you can just play it normally, especially when you have access to Bamboozle, and it seems like that's exactly what Volga is going to use to try and force the survivor away from here, and it seems like it has worked so far. Ooh, but a second Bamboozle to catch up with the survivor. Adrenaline! Oh my god, the adrenaline will buy so much time, and the pallet will be able to be played into now because of it. Oh my god, Neverhead is playing insane out of their minds in the coordination with Ultra to know about that. But Volga hits an insane prediction as well. The hit onto Neverhead will come through, and now a down, possibly no. Neverhead able to narrowly avoid it, dodging into the power there like Mathis said earlier, and now the down should come through as they block.
It all came down to this chase. Neverhead had to have run out the entirety of No Way Out, because now could go for the stock, but I think Volga actually doubled back for the pickup. No, oh, the cage is going to come through. This might actually be a big mistake here, as our Neverhead is going to appear right next to Quentin. Yeah, exactly. Ultra will be able to save the survivor. The hook would have secured that. Neverhead would have died in the corner here, because Ultra, of course, would have been close to the gates here. So Should have instead definitely gone instead for the hook here, because that No Way Out was still running out because Volga had gotten that down so early on. So Ultra is now going to get found, but of course no It is available. But both survivors are going to get spotted in the corner here. This might still be the 4K for Volga. This is just so extremely close between these two survivors and the killer, but of course still has the Sprimpers available, so we'll be able to get out of the corner. A nice fake here, but unfortunately not going to be enough. Volga is going to connect the M1 here. A nice greed on a nice fake by Ultra. He tries to make Volga whiff for the pallet, but instead just held W. But Volga is still going to connect that in, and a beautiful ability. The only survivor standing is Direwolf. I mean, never had, of course, rocking the Direwolf outfit. But yeah, Volga still trying to play, still playing extremely well this late game here, trying to get Never Had, but Never Had with beautiful positioning right next to our down. I don't think Volga was expecting that at all. Yeah, completely left this area. This is going to be the huge turnaround. Volga didn't expect Never Had to be still in this corner. This is going to be the two-man escape for sure. Never Had should just 99 the gate, pick up Ultra, and then get out of there instantly. Yeah, that's going to happen. Ultra holding shift. What's that supposed to be? But we're going to get the two-man out and Ultra stop sandbagging, and the 4K goes to the two-man out with Volga's unfortunate decision of committing to the cage. That is a huge turnaround so late on, and that is going to be a beautiful ending for Team 6, who still can turn it around extremely well and secure the 2-0 in their upcoming Pyramid game, because we are most likely going to see either Ultra or Never Had on the Executioner, and it's going to be so difficult here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my god, this was the closest match I think I've ever seen on Executioner. The start looked like it was all for Volga, and then the survivors were able to bring it back just at the end. That adrenaline play was so huge, and we'll see how 6 is able to respond to that as killer when we come back from a short break. Hello everybody, and we are now back from our break with Wash playing the killer for 6. I didn't expect Wash to be the killer choice for this team, but I guess you know, since he's put out such an insane performance on other killers, they are confident to have him. But ooh, a missed skill check from Soma straight off the back, revealing the location of 3 survivors, maybe even the whole team, as Wash is immediately going to get a chase now onto, I believe that's Swatter, yeah. And maybe even a hit coming out this early into the match. This would be insane, or even a Torment. Either way would be so huge. And the attempt to blind, there's the Torment, and probably a hit coming out very soon. Yeah, it seems like he's caught up. There's no way to get away, and there's the hit straight through the pallet. No time to drop it. Swatter will now try to hold W across the map, trying to make it towards the corrupt generator in this corner of the map. However, Wash will have the opportunity to hit a rights of judgment onto him if need be. Ooh, narrowly dodges at the last second. Wash isn't able to connect it. Bamboozle, however, is going to come out and now only has the pallet to play around, and a wonderful prediction hit, and the down will come through.
Our survival went down so far away from that pallet. That is extremely unfortunate for Swatter here. First down comes through, as we already see Terraformer running straight to Shack, trying to set up for the save. And also something that I've only just realized is I really like the change in meta that we expected with Pyramid Head especially, because I remember a time when you would only exclusively see Rune Undying Corrupt than something for late game on this club, maybe Know It or something. But now none of these perks are even apparent, besides Corrupt of course, but who would give up on Corrupt? But yeah, now again with 2 late game perks and the Bamboozle to save it, help in chase, which I've never seen before this set here, where also Volga played it in the previous game. That's to me a bit relatively funny, seeing a Pyramid with Bamboozle, because I've never personally seen that in public games or anything else. So it's really cool to see these picks, and Wash also just in such an amazing position here. Gets the first hook right in a corner of the map here, in one of those pockets that Groening Storehouse provides you where. Let me rephrase that, where Groening Storehouse provides you with 2 of these pockets, and taking full advantage of one of them, placing down a great wall of the trail to block off any kind of attempt to save here, because the survivors will be forced to crouch through if they don't want to get tormented, and on the other hand, if they crouch, they're a very easy target to getting an injure.
Yeah, definitely, and now we see Wash just defending this even more with his Trail of Torment. And we saw earlier that Swatter got infected with that Torment, and should be able to get tunneled off this hook. Even if he goes to second stage here, Soma is going to get saved in his second stage here. Soma is going to be in a very hard position to win since he can get tunneled off almost immediately. Wash also knows the positions of all the survivors, so knows where he can commit his pressure to, and seems to be in doing exactly that thanks to the value of Rancor, one of his perks that he's chosen differently over the perks that we saw Volga running previously. Wash, however, is just doing a phenomenal job, and this should be Swatter dead now at 3 generators remaining, which is the same time that we saw the death in the last match. So very, very well played from Wash here.
Wash in such a good position here, as you said, already getting this kill out so early on, very similarly to what Volga was able to achieve in the previous game. Of course, also having that one no way out stack now, but also utilizing the Rancor, so will always be aware due to the location reveal bubbles that pop up every time a generator is popped. Now Wash trying to trying to locate another survivor somewhere hiding around one of these generators, but Soma doing a good job staying out of the action for now, which is exactly what you want, because Volga was quote-unquote only able to secure 6 stages in the previous game, so 2 downs would be the win for Wash already, or basically getting given that one of those downs is secured to death. But none of these generators have good progression here. You see the tap has come through, the tap on this generator has been done previously. Wash trying to find our survivor, but we see Terrified hiding behind the corner, and Volga has a generator already at 99, but of course making the smart decision of not wanting to pop it, because that pop would have instantly given Wash knowledge of where Terrifier is, who now still is found in the corner. A complete prediction straight that the entire jungle gym is not going to land. Terrifier will be able to avoid that first Rise of Judgment, but is of course still stuck in this corner, and a down would already be half of what Wash has to achieve here. A beautiful prediction straight through the wall is going to get the down onto our thing Min Terrifier here, and one more down, and the secure to death would spell out the 2-0 win for Team 6.
Which would be insane, but Volga is not putting any pressure down, has the generator at 99 there with Milston. They're going to be able to complete this generator. The Rancor does come up, however, so if Milston is down right here, this will be the win. Wash, however, not committing to either survivor, trying to hide out, or I guess can't hide out the fact that he has Rancor, since Milston would have known already. He's now going to take a hit. An insane prediction comes out, and the tap on the door that will be no way out started with 2 stacks. That Milston is in this corner, no way out. Wash just literally no way out on the door, and no way out for Milston. Just has to go back and forth here. The Wash will kick the pallet, but it doesn't matter. The down will come through, and this should be the win for 6. Wonderfully played from both sides, but 6 just showing how dominant they are and how willing they are to make comebacks in this matchup.
Drum roll for the Mori. Yeah, this one is gonna get picked up, and the sword is going to go straight through our ace. All vital organs fully penetrated, and our survivor falls dead to the floor. That is going to be the 7th stage, I believe. I don't think it was the 8th. The 7th stage. Successful. Yeah, I hope they got Terrifier off the hook there. Don't want to leave our teammates hanging, but yeah, it is the 7th stage on our survivor, and that is definitely now going to be the win for Wash. Yeah, beautiful dodge by Volga. Will be able to secure the escape here at least, and Terrifier most likely already positioned at the gate.
Oh wait, I was just told this is actually going to be a tie, because the survivor was hooked once beforehand. Also, it was also 7 stages. This is going to end up being a tie unless the survivors are, unless the killer can get another down here. We might be going into a clown set unless the Pyramid Head finds a down on one of these survivors. And it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to. Yeah. This was so close. I thought it was 6 stages previously, but it was 7. We were just told. So, this will be the tie, and we will be going into a clown set later.
Yeah, I'm assuming we had the spectator bug there, or not the spectator, but the stage bug that sometimes appears when a survivor goes 2nd stage, and it only counts as 1, but the survivor is still dead on hook in the trial. So it seems like that's exactly what we were dealing with. So, well, we still have to wait here. But we have to count this up, I assume, and then give you an update at a later point in time.
I believe it's 32-32 for the score. And we will be giving you guys an update after a short break. Hello, everybody, and we are now back with Wash playing Clown on the Grim Pantry. We'll start off by hearing those crows chirp, and Wash is going to immediately throw out their yellow bottle to try and get some distance on one of these survivors, trying to find them as fast as possible, and immediately is able to find someone on an unsafe pallet as well. This is going to be insanely close to maybe getting an M1 already at 5 gens, and it seems like, ooh, almost coming out, but the immediate vault back will happen, and it seems like it will connect finally onto, I believe that is Milston. So we'll now have to continue this chase with an injured survivor already at 5 generators remaining. However, we'll see Wash need to reload, so a lot of distance will be lost while the survivors are starting on their generators, and chasing that main building as Clown is going to be very, very difficult. So Wash is going to opt to leave that immediately, knowing that that is a rough place to try and get a down at. Now going over towards, I believe this is like a fishing shack, so that's what I'm going to call it. Now going to, oh yeah, or that. And now we're going to get another injure on an unsafe pallet. Very, very well played from Wash here, however, not able to consolidate any downs onto these survivors because of the fact that he is an M1 killer. Not much to do here in this position, but he has gotten the 1-2 combo, but not enough to connect a hit, I believe. And she should be able to go all the way back to this tower and get some distance. Oh, using balanced landing to get even more distance away towards the main building. Now going to return back onto Swatter and try and connect any hits onto this survivor as well.
Our survivors from Team SOMA are doing absolutely superbly on these relatively unsafe pallets, given the ping difference, being able to postpone these hits for so long and winning up to 3 vaults every single time against the Clown as well. Also being impaired with their vision due to the purple bottles that of course our Clown can spam all around the map. But also we're going to see the brutal strength, and Milston, our first survivor that was in chase, had the smash hit available but unfortunately didn't get any value. But we're gonna see Wash finding a survivor in the corner of the map, and it is an injured one that as well. It is going to be our Milston, who's the smash hitter user, so if there's no pallet anywhere nearby, this is not going to be an exhaustion available for our chase. So closely on the TL, but unfortunately also runs straight into the killer, and that's going to be the first down finally in the corner of the map for Team 6.
Yeah, 3 generators remaining. This is going to be very, very close here. On the survivor side, they need to make sure that they're able to get as little stages as possible against this Clown, especially since the camp out is probably going to come through soon. And we see Swatter was hiding next to the basement. We see Wash has just walked immediately right past him. If he's able to find him, this could be huge, but it seems like he won't be able to unless he mysteriously checks the basement, but he's not going to do it. Instead, now we're turning back towards the hook. Swatter's still nearby, and we see the Ruin Totem still up next to the hook as well. This is a great position for Wash to be in. Could do a lot of damage with this position, especially since there seems to be a 3-gen around in this area. So the option to just hold this area down is going to be very, very good for Wash.
I love the symmetry also there. Without that pop generator, we would have seen a 3-gen right on this side and 3-gen on the exact opposite side, like it's a mirror match. But of course also, just beside the fact that there's a 3-gen here, we also have that Ruin Totem right in the middle, right in view of the hook here. So Wash can feel very, very free to secure this survivor to the second stage here, as that is now going to hit onto Milston. The penultimate generator is repaired in the corner, but this 3-gen is going to be very difficult to be protected here, as this generator is quite the odd one out in this net that Wash still has available. That save comes through instantly, and also I believe for the people, despite the fact that our killers cross map, but the bottle is going to land straight onto Terrifier, and that is going to be our second down of the game, and also the third stage as soon as our survivor is placed gently on the meat hook.
Yeah, definitely a good down to find, but the totem will be cleansed in the meantime. Wash is going to need to camp this out and maybe possibly get another down in the in-game if they want to get any more stages than 4, or else these, or actually wait, no, they are already at 2 stages, because I believe we got the stage bug once again and saw Milston hit second, so they will be at 5 stages there beforehand. And the hit onto Swatter will also come through. That second down that I was talking about will happen. We will finally now see a 3rd hook as well. This is going to be so huge for Wash, now able to get around 6 stages if they do decide to camp this out, which is such a good result on Clown. Maybe even possibly seeing 7 if they're able to down Frontier again, or sorry, the Fang again. I can't really read the name right now. Or Terrifier.
Terrifier, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw the F in and thought it was Frontier. But we will now see Wash kind of trying to camp this out, but also trying to interrupt the generator. Just trying to do whatever he can right now to secure as many stages as possible. It seems like that's exactly what's going to happen, as we see none of the survivors trying to come in right now. They're probably going to go through a 3-man save later in the game, but right now Wash has all the time in the world to wait out for this generator. We also have a door nearby, however, so that 3-man save that might come through will be huge. However, Noed is a perk that Wash has access to, and that will allow him to get another down, so it could be risky if they do go and decide to get that 3-man save before cleansing that that Hex Totem perk, which seems to be across the map from where the survivors were and in the edge map, which is very hard to find a totem on this map in the edge map, since it can literally be anywhere on this map. There are only 2 locations that are easy, and it doesn't seem to have spawned. Oh, never mind. My depth perception is off. It did spawn in one of the easy to find spots. This is going to be very, very bad for Wash if the survivors are able to find it immediately. If they're, suspecting that it is going to be used. It seems Terrifier is going to try and run in for the save, but the other 2 survivors are going to get out as fast as possible and try to just secure as many stages as possible away from this. Maybe Terrifier is just returning back now towards the gate, as we don't see them coming in anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't even know if our survivors are even going to try to go for it. Yeah, we are just going to see the 3-man escape, and that is going to leave our killer washed at 5 stages here. I also really love the names of our players. We have SOMA Swatter, SOMA Nurse, and SOMA Terrifier, and Volga. But yeah, that is going to be the conclusion of our first game of the Clown set, and that is going to leave our killer for Team 6 at 5 stages. So after a short break, we will be spectating the response that our killer from Team Soma, the representative of our dear Russian team, has to offer. Hello everybody and welcome back to the potentially last game of our matchup between Soma and 6. It all comes down to whether or not 6 can decide this match for themselves, because we did have a tie in the previous game, which so far puts the score at a 1-0 for 6 still, as they did decide the Nurse set. But the Pyramid was unfortunately tied with the same amount of stages, so if 6 wins this, they will be taking the matchup point. But if Soma wins, then we will have to replay the Clown set. So I don't think the teams would be a very big fan of having to play this M1 killer again with the ping difference as well on the same map. So we will see how this game will unfold, with Ultra already taking a very early hit straight at the start of the game, but now also going to the fog log and gets annihilated on it and takes the clobber straight over it.
Yeah, this is a very quick down, one that was even quicker than we saw in the last match. This is going to be huge for Volga and Team Soma, already getting a down this early into the Clown set. In the meantime, however, the survivors have just barely started working on their gens. The farthest one is at 60%. So Volga is in a very decent position here, especially if they're able to interrupt any one of these generators. But no ruin also on the map, so no regression is going to come through automatically. He will have to kick with that brutal strength in order to get any regression on these generators at all, or any slowdown at all. He will have to manually kick those generators to do so. In the meantime, however, we will see the chase on the main building already starting, and Kate never had getting hit already on this main building, but still has access to the windows upstairs and the little ones downstairs. So this could be still a huge opportunity for them to keep Volga on the chase for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and after that first stage came out so soon, Volga is now struggling to connect it with another hook here. Very nice patience on this extremely safe pallet here, so no surprise that the survivor was not outplayed on this. It would have been quite the moment for the highlight reel. But yeah, we are going to see another nice snipe by Volga, so far showing great precision with the bottle snipes. Now Direwolf is unfortunately going to take the down over the pallet here. Of course, never had playing the iconic Direwolf outfit, and is going to provide Volga with the second stage of the game. Gets pickup cancelled there for a split second, but the hook is going to, the pickup is going to come through, and Neverhand is going to get basemented as well. But we have all our survivors splitting on generators. Then the second generator in total pops now, and 2 survivors are already split on 2 more generators. So in best case scenario, Chobani is the one that also has the borrow time and is the one setting up for the save as soon as possible, while both of our other survivors can still focus and remain on their generators.
Volga is definitely in a very good position here, already having these 2 downs at 3 generators remaining. We got our first down in the last match at 3 generators remaining, and still having access to that Noed is going to play such big dividends in the end game. When it comes to that, Volga also having basement at this opportunity is going to mean that he can just camp this out perfectly and not allow any survivors to go down in the basement without him knowing, especially if he throws his pink bottles around the shack. However, all the survivors aren't worrying about that survivor. Neverhand might even just take the death here for the team, as the survivors are all just splitting on these generators. It might be the most strategical thing to just let the death come out from the camp. Volga needs to try and put some pressure, any pressure on the generators, and that's exactly what they're doing. Heading over to a Joy King generator, going to kick it and probably immediately return back to the generator. No, he's going to at least throw a bottle to slow down the return to that generator as Volga heads back. If one of the survivors also got off their generators to try and come in for the save, it is going to buy Volga just a little bit more time, but the save does come through. If there's BT, this will be huge. So Volga is just going to try and body block for as long as possible to prevent the BT from coming through, and it seems like Ultra is going to try and prevent the down, but it's going to come through nonetheless. And if this is DS, this would spell a disaster for Volga, but if it's not, this could be huge. No DS! This could be huge. This is going to be the death at 1 generator remaining. Another hook here would spell victory if he's able to camp it out.
Yeah, this is going to be so close between these 2 teams, and as we did see, Volga is now nearing the win condition. That no, it does pop. The last generator is finally finished, but the survivor is going to instantly take chase here. But it is going to be our Ultra, who has been hooked several times before. I think this time it would be death hook here. So it's right now we're sitting at 4. I completely forgot how many stages we achieved in the previous game, but let's just say 6. Okay, so Ultra would be enough for a tie, but I think Volga is trying to get the win here. So yeah, I don't even know what would happen in a tie scenario, to be completely honest, because we've never tied a tie. So this is gonna be so close between Volga and our survivors here. Best case scenario, our survivors of course rescue Ultra from the ground and get this. Yep, and that. Oh, we do get exactly that into the sprint burst, into the exit gate escape. So you might actually see the 3-man out here. Of course, it has that Noed, so it's gonna be scary to go for any of these exit gates here against the Clown that has the slowdown, has the extra movement speed from the Noed as well, so you're dealing with quite a tank here that has the ability to one-shot like a Bubba on 120 movement speed without who doesn't have to use the chainsaw to get the one-shots.
Yeah, but we do have to keep in mind, I think if Ultra does die here, it still might be a tie, or not a tie, but a win for 6, as I believe the opposite team had 2 fresh hooks instead of just 1. So it could mean that 6 does still get the victory here. Chobani now, however, and Joy King need to play extremely safe to try and get out. They're looking for this Noed, trying to ensure a safe escape. However, it is on the path in between these 2 exit gates. We see that Chobani has made it out. Now all is left is Joy King. Volga heading over towards the main building, trying to interrupt him going for this door. However, Volga is not going to find anybody on this side of the map, and if the callouts from the survivors are correct, we should see Joy King on the way there.
We do still have that live available, so if Joy King finds some sort of vault opportunity, no, actually he's going for this hatch. We might see both of survivors escape. No is going to try to push all the way to the exit gate, but of course would also have the hatch now available. I think the best thing that okay, Volga's at the main building. This is going to be the 3-man escape. If any of our survivors spot the Clown on the main building, then that is going to be the win. Our survivors are going to take the 3-man out.
Yeah, it seems like exactly what's going to happen.
Yep.
Oh my god, such a close...
3-man escape. It's extremely close, as you said. Yeah, our survivors will be able to find the escape, and that is going to be the win, the 2-0 for Team 6 over Team SOMA.
Yeah, such a close game, even throughout the Pyramid Head matches, which was a tie. That insanely well played from both teams throughout this entire series of matches. It's been so close back and forth, especially in these later matches. The Nurse one was kind of a blowout on Six's part. They played extremely well on the killer and on the survivor team, but the M1 killers definitely showed that we saw SOMA doing so well, and we'll be back with, I believe, an interview after a short break.